Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Open Mike Podcast. Open Mike Podcast is unofficially brought to you by Liquid Death. Murder your thirst. Don't just quench your thirst, murder your thirst. Liquid Death. Get your tall boy can today. Liquid Death, unofficial sponsor of the Open Mike Podcast. Hope everybody's doing great. Uh, got a lot to talk about. Um, so basically, this episode, we're going to go over some football. We're going to cover week one of NFL, do a recap, and then go over um, week two, upcoming games for week two. I did not get to make a podcast and go over the week one games before week one started. Just been busy living life. Sometimes it happens. But I wanted to touch on something real quick to start this episode. It's kind of been a rough few weeks. I feel like there was a Ukrainian refugee that was murdered on a train for no reason. Um, there was a school shooting a few weeks ago, and then today, Charlie Kirk, who I don't know if people know who he is. He's a conservative. He's a right wing conservative. Very outspoken guy. He has what is his little? He basically goes around a lot of I first saw him because there were memes going around about like change my mind, right? And it was Charlie Kirk. Turning Point USA is a nonprofit organization promotes conservative and libertarian values on high school and college campuses. So he goes around a lot of schools, high schools, college campuses. He's a speaker, um, very conservative. He also had a daily talk show and a podcast, Charlie Kirk Show. Um, and he's very outspoken, right, on a lot of his beliefs, and um, it he says things that rub people the wrong way, but he's allowed to have his beliefs and his points of views, and I think he was in his mind and a lot of people's minds probably doing something right. Like I feel like he was uh, a conservative activist, right? And so a lot of people didn't agree, and I didn't agree with a lot of things he stood for, but I can respect the man as a person. He had ideas and he had beliefs, and he was out there, and he was, he would interact with anybody. He would talk with anybody. He would, set up these kind of like I don't know what they want to call them. Um, Kind of like open forums. Basically, he'd go and he'd take questions from people in the crowd. Didn't matter if they were left, right, conservative, whatever. Right? He would, and but he's said a lot of questionable things. And um, today at a university, he was assassinated, essentially, shot and killed. Um, they had arrested someone, but I guess it wasn't them. So that guy got set free. So as of right now, of me doing this podcast, um, the person that murdered him had not been um, captured. Um, Saw the video. Wish I hadn't have saw the video. It's pretty gruesome. When the reports came out that he was shot, I'm thinking, well, maybe it was a glance, maybe it was, whatever, right? And then you get online, you just go down this rabbit hole and the videos are out there, and I would not recommend anybody looking at it if you're, it's disturbing, right? You watch a man get murdered, and not something I'd want to see. But when I saw the gunshot, I was like, there's no way he lives through this. Like, there's no way. And unfortunately, he did not. And I don't wish that on anybody. Um, no matter how you feel, no matter what your political stance is, your beliefs, your opinions, it's not worth losing or taking someone's life. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that I feel like America is a violent country. Now, and I'm not comparing us to countries with that harbor terrorists and things of that nature. Of course, um, those countries are they're bad. But it's like um, a lot of outrage today, man. A lot of people are upset, and they have a right to be. Um, they have a right to be upset because anytime someone loses their life uh, for something like this, it's there should be outrage, right? And it's just like when innocent children, are murdered in school. Like a lot of people, are like, well, today's the tipping point. My point's been tipped. Like I've reached my boiling point a long time ago. So the more people that die after that, it's just like it's just piling on at that point. Um, but I mean, he has said some questionable things, and when you're out, right, you just have to, um, you have to know, and it's unfortunate that his children now are going to grow up without a father. I think his wife and his kids were there. All the people that were there in attendance that witnessed that, like some of those people are not going to recover from what they saw today, and it's unfortunate and it's sad, and um, but a lot of people just did not care for that guy. He rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and they're just not going to show any empathy or sympathy for him. And people they have that right. They're allowed to do that. They can feel the way they want to feel about him, and I have opinions too. I mean, he's made some comments, some things that I did not like, and but I wouldn't wish death on the man. I wouldn't do that to anybody. Um, but the problem, I saw it on an Instagram post earlier. Like people are scared. It's like people who own guns are scared to give up their guns because the country is full of like murderous, insane people, right? And people on the other side of that are scared to have people own guns because the country is full of murderous, like crazy lunatic people. And it's like the problem isn't, it's not the guns, it's like people. People are the problems. And I've said it, like this country is full of people who suffer from a lot of mental health issues. It's full of nut cases, and full of a country full of nut cases that can easily obtain a gun. Those are two very, very, those are recipes for disaster. And unfortunately, that's been going on for, you know, as long as I can remember. And, to think that um, people need to send their kids to school with a bulletproof plate in their book bag. Um, and I know people that do that and they get laughed at, and it's like, I think they're missing the point that a parent is so afraid that they feel they have to do that. We shouldn't have to live that way. Not, I never thought we'd be at this point in this country. Um, I remember people ask me all the time, like, uh, when you were a kid, like a lot of people say, man, when I was a kid, I couldn't wait to grow up and be an adult. And now as an adult, it's like, I mean, if I could when I was a kid, man, things were so simple, right? And it's like I never thought about that when I was a child or a kid. I never once thought, man, I can't wait till I'm an adult. I can't wait till I'm 30 or 40 or 50 or whatever. I never felt that way. I never felt like I was going to grow up. So I just things were so simple when I was a kid, and I just don't. I mean, we probably hear about violence a lot more because of social media, but I just think the world's a violent place, especially the United States. I feel like, and it's just something we've learned. Charlie Kirk said it. Like the cost of gun ownership comes with loss of life. I mean, he also said, 50,000 car deaths a year. If you take away cars, yeah, then you eliminate 50,000 deaths, but that's not rational. And it makes sense. I get it. But what they did was they put mandates on companies who make cars to make cars safer. Now, you're still going to have dummies driving cars and having accidents, but the cars are safer, so you have less fatality. People are okay with that. They're okay with the government mandating things, putting these mandates on these car companies to make their cars safer. But the moment you mention anything about a firearm or any of that, it's like, nope, there's no mandates on that. We're not doing anything with that. And we just argue back and forth and nothing gets done. I've talked about this before. I don't have a solution, but it seems like nobody else does and nobody's worried about one. They just, because one side points a finger and the other side points a finger. But I just feel like this Charlie him getting murdered, it pissed a lot of people off. And maybe something will get done now. I don't know. It's unfortunate that this man had to lose his life. If that is the case, um, to get something done. I mean, a lot of people are upset. I was upset when, anytime a child's murdered, it pisses me off and it makes me sad. And so my needle's broke. It can't be moved anymore. I've been at my tipping point. So, um, yeah, I don't know. It's tough, man, especially from a parental standpoint. You're just like, this is the world you got to raise your kid in, and you just hope that you can, teach them and not shelter them from the things that go on in the world, because I think they need to know, when they're old enough to understand and can process that. But I also don't want, kids to grow up in fear. I want them to allow it to be kids, and I feel like we're getting to that point. Um, nobody wants to do anything, though, and it's like Charlie Kirk also said, we don't get shootings at football games or baseball games or courtrooms and things like. Why? Because there's armed security, there's armed police force there. Just doesn't happen. But for some reason, nobody wants to do that with schools. Nobody wants to have armed security or armed um, police officers at schools to protect. Now, I will say, I have been in schools and there are police officers there, but they're normally sitting down on the phone, texting or playing a game. They're in no position that if something were to go down, that they could do anything. So I feel like they need to take the job a little bit more serious. But I don't have the answers, and I wish I did. And I feel bad for this man's wife and the children, and he was a father, a brother, um, husband. Um, and it's unfortunate. And maybe something will get done now with gun violence. I don't know. I really, really um, wish I had the answer, and I don't. Um, but yeah, uh, Now I've posted some stuff on social media today, and it's pissed people off. And I just feel like people read what they want to read anyway, and then they take what you say out of context, and it's like it's pointless. It's pointless. Like I say what I say, and I'm not engaging with people anymore because it's like y'all are gonna read what you want to read, and then twist it and do whatever with it. So just have at it. Um, there's a mental health issue in this country, and I think there's an issue with gun laws and how easy it is to obtain them, and there just needs to be something done, but nobody wants to do anything. We're just gonna eventually we'll forget about this guy, and he'll be whatever. People calling him a hero. That's probably a stretch. I don't know if I'd call him a hero, but um, anyways, we got football. Man, I got football to take my mind off things, and I wait all year. Um, I shouldn't say all year, but since the playoffs last year, I'm a Commanders fan. Was a Redskin fan my whole life, and yeah. So let's talk some football. Let's talk some football. Let's talk some football. So week one, let's do a week one recap, NFL, and we're gonna start with the most recent game. That was a Monday night game, Minnesota Chicago. Um, Chicago. Minnesota won that 27-24. Uh, Chicago came out on fire in that game. Like they got a new coach. Ben Johnson was offensive coordinator for Detroit. Came to Chicago. Caleb Williams, who was the number one draft pick last year's draft. A lot of expectations, right? And they came out on fire first quarter, and then it just fell apart. And then the Vikings, they drafted J.J. McCarthy last year, and he got hurt. So a lot of expectations for him. He didn't look great either for Minnesota. I mean, that game, Chicago, like I said, they came out on fire, and then it burned out real quick. But um, McCarthy lit it up in the second half, more fourth quarter specifically. He had 3 touchdowns in fourth quarter. He accounted for 3 touchdowns in fourth quarter. He became the first quarterback in NFL history to account for 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter of his NFL debut. He joined Steve Young as the only quarterback in the past 45 years to overcome a double-digit deficit in the fourth quarter of their debut to win. So Minnesota's pretty happy about that. I know J.J. McCarthy well. He played at University of Michigan. Go Blue. I'm a Michigan fan. He was not. I mean, he wasn't great there. I mean, he didn't cost them games, but I don't feel like he won them a lot of games either. But he managed the game well, and they had a good running game, good defense. So they won national title 2 years ago. So yeah, I don't know. The Bears, they had some momentum and then they lost it, and Caleb Williams just looked like he was lost. He was very inaccurate. The Bears, they had 12 penalties, 127 yards. I don't know, Caleb. Like I feel like Ben Johnson's putting a lot on Caleb Williams' plate, and I feel like as a coach, you kind of have to coach to your quarterback's strength instead of forcing your quarterback to run your offense. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he hit his first 10 straight. Like, yeah, we went 10 straight completions, 86 yards, and then it just kind of sputtered. And then, yeah, it wasn't good. But yeah, Minnesota 27-24 over Chicago. Go to the Sunday night game. That was Buffalo Baltimore. That was a hell of a game. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Baltimore was winning in that game. I mean, they were up, and then I mean, Derrick Henry, he's unstoppable. It's just crazy. That guy, that size can run that fast and do the things he does. And but yeah, man, come the fourth quarter, I mean, Ravens basically trying to run the clock out, and Derrick Henry fumbled, and Buffalo recovered it with about 3 minutes remaining. And I think the Bills were down at that point, 40-32. They scored, failed on the 2-point conversion, so they were down by 2, and that's when he fumbled. They scored, was down by 2. They forced Ravens 3 and out. Buffalo drove down the field, kicked the game winning field goal as time expired. Buffalo 41, Baltimore 40. Another rough way to lose, but Josh Allen 33 of 46, 394 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. So last year's MVP, picking right up where he left off. So I mean, they were up. I don't think they've lost a game. They were up by 15 at one point. First team since 2017 to lose a game after leading by 15 or more points in the final 4 minutes. So Buffalo came back in the last 4 minutes. But both those teams are going. I mean, they'll be all right. But that's going to be an important game because they're in 2 different divisions. I mean, that's a tiebreaker game. It comes down to the end of the season for seeding 1 or 2. I mean, that's a tiebreaker game. So that's a rough one. Next game, Denver, Tennessee. Denver 20, Tennessee 12. What a snoozer. Bo Nix. Everybody's telling me Bo Nix didn't look good. Didn't look good in that game. They struggled. Run game struggled. I mean, I watched a little bit of this game. Bo Nix had 2 interceptions. They had a fumble. It just didn't look good. But, Tennessee's playing with a rookie quarterback. Number 1 pick, Cam Ward. He didn't look bad, but it's no. It was the Denver defense that basically won the game for them. I mean, Tennessee couldn't really do much. They're trying to be a run-heavy team, and the game just wasn't much. But yeah, final score: Denver 20, Tennessee 12. I don't know what to expect out of Bo Nix this year. Sean Payton. A lot of people were saying Bo Nix should have been in running for offensive rookie of the year last year, and nobody was getting that over Jaden Daniels. I don't see Bo Nix remotely close to the quarterback Jaden Daniels is, and I don't know. Cam Ward out of Miami, he has all the talent. He has the size. He's a big guy. I don't know what the Titans are going to be though. I mean, he needs help. So, but the Broncos defense was just too much. Tennessee couldn't do anything. Here was a game that kind of surprised me in a way. Green Bay, Detroit. Green Bay won that game 27-13. Micah Parsons traded from Dallas to Green Bay. So this is his debut. I think he only had about 30 snaps. But Detroit looked terrible. And they lost their defensive coordinator and their offensive coordinator, and I think that matters. But they got Jared Goff. I don't think Goff is that great of a quarterback. Some people love him. I'm not a Jared Goff fan. I mean, the Detroit was great last year. They had a lot of injuries on defense, but they, Washington played them in the playoff game, and Goff did not play well. He did not play well, and I think he had 3 picks in that game. I think the Green Bay defense dictated this game too, and Green Bay got up early by 14. No, I think it was 10. It's like 10-3 or something like that. It went up 17, and Detroit didn't even score a touchdown until the fourth quarter. So that game was in hand pretty much the whole time. And Jordan Love for Green Bay, man, a lot of people like him. I think he's pretty good. I don't know, um, but they have a good they have a good defense, and it might be their year to win that uh that division. I don't know what the Bears are going to be, and I don't. The good thing is about week one, nobody really knows. Like teams that look good now in a month may not. So you kind of don't know. I wouldn't count Detroit out. They got a lot of weapons on offense. I don't know. Losing both your offensive and your defensive coordinators, that's a lot to overcome. So I don't know. I don't know. San Francisco, Seattle. San Francisco 17, Seattle 13. Um, 49ers came out of this game. George Kittle uh, injured his hamstring. He's on IR. He'll be out at least 4 weeks. Trent Williams. Um, and then Brock Purdy got hurt, and it sounds like he's going to be out this week coming up. We'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah. And the 49ers carry Jake Moody. Since week 10 of last season, he's made 12 or 23 field goals, 52%. And that guy's terrible. And he had 2 misses on Sunday from inside the 40. That's not good. But I thought San Fran would win their division. So Seattle had 13 points. I think Seattle's not. I don't know much about them. Like I said, they've lost a lot of people. And they're going to have to rely on their defense. And I just don't know if that'll be enough to keep them going. They got Sam Darnold was not good. I mean, he had a chance to win the game late, but he fumbled because the pass rush got to him. The Seahawks, I don't know who the number one running back is. I don't think they know either. They're just not. I don't think they're going to be a very good team this year. San Fran seems like they get bit by the injury bug every year now. So with Brock Purdy out this week coming up, they could be in some trouble. Next game, Rams versus Houston. Another snoozer. Rams won that 14-9. I don't know what's going on with Houston. They got C.J. Stroud. It's like they just can't score. They got new receivers. They got new receivers, new linemen. They got a new offensive coordinator, new play caller, new running back. I mean, there's a lot of news on that team, and it's going to probably take them a while. That C.J. Stroud's good, but he's not enough to overcome that. The Rams, Matt Stafford, he's had some back issues. Pretty much missed all of training camp. But they got a good defense, and they're going to rely on the defense. They got a receiver, Puka Nakua. He had 10 catches for 130 yards. He also went out, was evaluated for a concussion, came back in. Matt Stafford hit the 60,000-yard passing mark in that game, too. He had 245 passing yards. I like Matt Stafford. His age is catching up to him, and now with a bad back, what is he going to be going forward? I don't know. Scoring 14 points is not going to win very many games in this league. So I don't know what to expect out of them or Houston. But yeah, Rams won that 14-9. Jacksonville, Carolina. I thought Carolina would be a little bit better this year, honestly. They showed some promise at the end of last year. They fought, hard in a lot of games. Jacksonville won this 26-10. Jacksonville defense stepped up. He played well. Jaguars got the kid who played Colorado, plays both ways. What's his name? Travis Hunter. So he plays DB and he plays wide receiver. I feel like you can find a wide receiver in this league. I feel like DBs are hard to find. So if it was me, I would slowly transition him to DB. But it seems like in this game, I think he had more snaps at wide receiver than he did at defensive back. But they have Travis Etienne, who's a great running back. Um, they were talking about trading him in the offseason, but uh, they didn't. And then Etienne won the job. They had Tank Bigsby, but he was traded recently to Philly, which I don't know. I don't know why Philly traded for another running back. Um, but yeah, Jaguars defense stepped up in this game. Sounds like the defense dominated in this game. Um, they have Trevor Lawrence. Where'd he go? I don't see his stat line here. ETN had 16 carries with 143 yards and a 71-yard run to set up a touchdown. I mean, that's good. So, I mean, if you can run the ball like that, you take it out of Trevor Lawrence's hands. I'm not big on him either. He came with Clemson. I don't think he's going to be that good. Bryce Young played good for the Panthers. Like I said, at the end of last year, the Panthers didn't play bad. But I don't know. They didn't do much on Sunday. It could be a combination of last year was just a fluke at the end of the year, and Jaguars defense is just too strong for them to. They just Carolina couldn't stop the run. So if you can't stop the run, you're not gonna win very many games. Next game, Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Tampa Bay 23, Atlanta 20. I watched a little bit of this game too. It was a good game. Atlanta had a chance to tie, and Tampa Bay scored, and the kicker missed the extra point. This was close to the end of the game, and Atlanta had a chance to tie it up, and their kicker missed from like 40, I think. But Michael Penix Jr., he's a lefty too. I think he's going to be really good for Atlanta. He came in last year, later in the season, played well. I mean, they played Washington on it was a Sunday night game, and that game went into overtime. It was a good game, and yeah, I think the Buccaneers are going to be pretty good this year, though. I don't that division. I don't know. It's going to come down to Tampa and Atlanta. It's not, Carolina and New Orleans are not going to compete, so it'll be between those two. So that was a big week one matchup, um, for those two teams, a division game. Yeah, I think the Falcons will be all right though. But that division is going to come down between them two, and it'll probably come down to the wire at the end of the season. So, yeah, next game, Cincinnati, Cleveland. Cincinnati won this 17-16. I don't understand Cincinnati. Like Cleveland has a good defense, and Cincinnati supposedly has no defense. Like last year, their defense was terrible. But you got Burrow, you got two of the highest paid receivers in the league. I mean, you score 17 points. I get it. Cleveland's defense is supposed to be decent, but wow. I just feel like 17 points. Like, I don't know. It seems like Burrow. I don't know. I like Joe Burrow. I think he's good, but I don't know what's going to happen with them the rest of the year. Like, you cannot win games scoring 17 points. The only thing that helped them is the Browns' offense is worse. So they got Joe Flacco, who's older. Um, Browns do have a good defense, though. I will say that. They got Myles Garrett, defensive end Myles Garrett, cornerback Denzel Ward. It's just that since they couldn't get Chase or T Higgins involved in this game. You're paying those guys a lot of money. Chase had 2 catches for 26 yards. So you're paying a guy the kind of money he's making, you got to find a way. He was targeted 5 times. He had 2 catches on 5 targets, 26 yards. That ain't cutting it. But maybe this is Cincinnati's recipe for winning. Maybe they're gonna play. Maybe the defense is gonna be a little bit better. I don't know. Browns are the Browns. I mean, good defense, no offense, no field goal kicker. I don't expect much out of them. I don't know that they're in a tough division too with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. So it's usually Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Since he's usually there, like I said, last year was a down year. They had good offense. Just had no defense. Couldn't stop nobody. They can score 30 and give up 40. In this league, you score 30 points, 28 to 35 points, you're going to win a lot of games, or you should. If not, then you have a terrible defense. Um, Pittsburgh, New York Jets. Pittsburgh 34, Jets 32. I watched a little bit of this game. Um, hey, man, Aaron Rodgers having last year off probably helped him coming off of Achilles. Yeah, he looked good, man. He threw 4 touchdowns. He looked like Aaron Rodgers of old, not going to lie. But no defense. Jets supposed to have a good defense. There's not much defense in this game. Aaron Glenn, who was defensive coordinator for Detroit, is now coaching the New York Jets. And they look good though. I'm not gonna lie. Like I did not expect Fields, who's their quarterback. He rushed for 48 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he made some plays and they hung right in there. So the Pittsburgh kicked the field goal late to win that one. So I think it was a 60. I think it was a 60-yarder. He kicked a 60-yarder in to win the game. So, um, yeah, I don't know, man. I just think if Aaron Rodgers is going to play like that all year, they're going to have a chance to win that division and maybe go somewhere in the playoffs. I don't know, but you're going to need more defense than that. You can't give up. 30 plus. Washington Giants versus Giants 21-6. Washington defense dominated in this game. Russell Wilson looked lost. All I hear the Giants have a good defense, especially their front line, their front seven, their defensive line, linebackers are great. But Washington, they ran for like 222 yards on them combined, 222 yards. The game felt close. Washington played kind of sloppy, had some penalties, dropped passes, but they dictated. Like their D line dominated this game and held the Giants to 6 points. I mean, the Giants got down the goal line one time and had like 3 plays, and then there was a holding penalty. So basically, that's automatic first. They had 3 more plays from the goal line, could not get in. Wilson was 17 of 37. That's terrible. But the Washington run defense last year was ranked 30th. And in that game on Sunday, they allowed 38 yards rushing on 15 carries. So, new revamped D line seems like it worked good in that game. I don't know. Everybody's like, well, it's because Russell Wilson. But Russell was under duress the whole game. So, everybody's like, well, they should put the rookie in. That would have been a bigger recipe for disaster. You putting a rookie in against that kind of pressure. I just think Russell Wilson is washed. I never thought he was that great to begin with. I feel like he just run around, find somebody open, just chuck the ball down the field. I mean, he used to be real mobile, and he's not anymore. But Washington dominated that. But like I said, Washington left points on the board. Daniels was not as accurate as he usually is. This first game is always kind of like an extended preseason game. Now they only have 13 preseason games. But I mean, they picked up Deebo Samuel over the offseason. He had a 19-yard fourth quarter touchdown run to put him up 21. So that was cool to see. And yeah, he just wasn't as good. It's 3 for 8 on third down. Last year it was I think they'll get better. Like I said, this first week of football, man, you don't know what you're getting. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Giants. Like I said, I think they have a good defense. I just don't think Russell Wilson's the answer, and I don't know. Like their all-star wide receiver Malik Neighbors is his second year. mean, they returned 10 of 11 starters, on offense. The only difference was Russell Wilson. So, um, I don't know. I think the rookie's probably going to get in there sooner than later. And if they can't protect them no better than they did against Washington on Sunday, I mean, is the line that bad or is Washington's D line that much better? Time will tell. We don't know. But under pressure, Wilson was 2 of 12 for 26 yards with 2 sacks and 2 scrambles. That just didn't look good. So, anyway, moving on. Las Vegas 20, New England 13. I don't know what to think about this game. Geno Smith, who's now the quarterback for the Raiders, who was with Seattle last year. Pete Carroll came back to coach the Raiders. Raiders have a good D, but they got a lot of pressure. I don't know what to expect out of New England. Mike Vrabel, who's the coach there now, who I think is a good coach. He was in Tennessee. I think Geno Smith did enough to win the game. He didn't lose it for him. They also have a great tight end, Brock Bowers. He had 5 catches, 103 yards. Jacoby Myers had 8 catches, 97 yards. So I don't know about Drake. Drake May, everybody's telling me how great he is. He struggled in the preseason. He struggled in this game. I don't know. He just seemed lost out there. And the Patriots are up 10-7 at halftime, though. So, yeah, I don't know. This game wasn't much. I didn't watch this game. I don't know if anybody did, but Drake May threw a pick. Raiders scored on that. Made it 14-10, and it was pretty much over at that point. Raiders never gave up the lead after that. Next game, Arizona, New Orleans. Arizona 20, New Orleans 13. New Orleans stinks. Arizona ain't much better. Kyler Murray is just, I don't know. I'm just not big on him. I don't think he's that good. They got Marvin Harrison Jr., who's a great wide receiver. I just think his career there is going to be hindered by who they have at quarterback. So, I don't really have too much opinion on these two teams. I know the Saints had a lot of penalties. Who's their quarterback? They do have a decent defense. I mean, they got Cameron Jordan, he's usually pretty good. I don't expect much from New Orleans here. Spencer Rattler. I think he played at USC, South Carolina. I don't know. I don't think either one of these teams are doing anything this year anyway. Indy at Miami. This was a shocker to me, honestly. Indy 33, Miami 8. And it was not even that close. Miami scored till in fourth quarter. But Daniel Jones, who was a quarterback for the Giants for years, was never that good. I mean, he was okay. He goes here and lights it up. 22 of 29 for 272 yards and a touchdown. He had 2 rushing touchdowns too. So it's like, I don't know, man. Sometimes the guys just need a new environment. And Colts D shut Miami down. I mean, Miami's Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think he's that good. Tyreek Hill is a knucklehead. Yeah, that guy's fast. He's this, he's that. But I don't know, dude. That guy's got like 20 kids by like 10 different women or some shit. I just can't. I can't get down with that, man. And then I heard, like, I think it was today or yesterday, he was charged with domestic assault. So things are gonna fall apart in Miami. I feel like pretty quick this year. But good for Daniel Jones, man. Like good for Indy because I never thought Daniel Jones was that bad. I just felt he was in a. I don't think the Giants is that great of an organization right now. I don't think they, other than Saquon, they didn't really have much around them, and they didn't have an O line. They appear to still not have a good O line. So yeah, I'm not expecting much out of Miami this year. I think things are going to fall apart pretty quick. Um, they're supposed to have a good defense, but it did not do anything in that game. And yeah, so good for Daniel Jones. Chargers versus the Chiefs. Chargers 27, Kansas City 21. I don't know. The Chargers look good in this game. Um, a lot of people. Um, I think the Chargers are going to be good this year. I don't think this is going. I think this is when the. I think this is the year Kansas City uh, starts coming back down. I think they take a step back this year. Honestly, I don't even think. I don't think Kansas City makes the playoffs, and that's probably a bold thing to say. I just think they're old. They're an older team, and this might be the year the Chargers win that division. Um, I think it'll be them or Denver, and yeah, uh, Kansas City just looks old. And Kelsey's just they got injuries now. Kelsey's just not. He can't really move. They got Hollywood Brown, who's a decent wide receiver, small. But Justin Herbert for the Chargers, I feel like is the real deal. I know he had a bad playoff game last year, threw a bunch of picks, and a lot of people were really ragging on him for that. But I think he's a good quarterback, and I think this may be the year they win that division and move on. Um, so I don't know. But yeah, I think Kansas City takes a step back this year. I don't even think they make playoffs. That's just my opinion. So Philly 24, Dallas 20. This was the first game to start week one. Um, they had an hour rain delay because of lightning, and from that point on, the score was the same in the second half. Nobody scored in the second half. I feel like that took all the wind out of everything. Um, Philly lost some key players on defense, and Dallas that coming back off injury. They got some weapons on offense. I don't know. Um, I don't know about their defense. They traded Michael Parsons away, and I just think they're going to struggle defensively. I don't think their O line's that great either. Um, I just think the Eagles lost some guys in the secondary, especially, and Adoree Jackson, who they picked up in place of Slay. He was not good in that game. So I don't know. Philly's still the team to beat in that division. Um, so we'll see what happens. But uh, Hurts was good in that game. I mean, he ran a lot, and I mean, there was times when you knew he was going to run. I don't know. Dallas didn't spy him or anything. I don't know what they were doing. Like I said, Dallas' defense, I think, is going to struggle this year, and I think Philly's defense is going to struggle too. But their offense should be fine. Um, so I don't know, but yeah, Philly won that game, 24-20. So, and that's it. That's a recap for week one. Week one recap. So let's talk about week two. Let's talk about week two. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some pimping in it. Let's go. Let's see what we got here. Week two. Let's take a look at the schedule there. Not now. Dallas. Dallas. John said Dallas this week. Uh, Dallas should win this game. I mean, their spread is they're giving up 6. John's getting 6 points in this game for all the people who like to bet. Um, I don't know. Dallas, like I said, Giants defense, their line is not bad, and so I think they're going to challenge Dallas. But the fact this game is in Dallas, and I could see it kind of going either way, though. I feel like Dallas has the advantage. I mean, 6 points is strong. Is a strong. What the hell? 6 points is strong here, but I think it's just because the Giants' offense last week looked so anemic. I just think, you know, Dallas should win this game pretty easily. Um, Carolina, Arizona. Carolina's getting 6.5. Uh, Arizona should win this game. I mean, I don't see much from either team, but Carolina, I think the end of last year they didn't look good. They looked great the end of last year. This first game, first week one, they did not look good at all. Um, I don't see any reason why Arizona should not win this game. I don't know if they'll cover that 6.5 though. I think that's a, um, I think that's a tough cover there for them. Cover that 6.5. Get on. Oh, let's see. Oh, I didn't mention in that Philly Dallas game too. Jalen Carter spit on Dak Prescott before the game even got started and was ejected from the game. A lot of people say Dak spit at him first or whatever. I don't know. He spit at. I think it was no ill will there. A lot of people was like, well, he instigated it. No, I don't feel like that's. Nope. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me put some pimping in it. Why in the hell? Why is this so hard? Get this now. What? Hold on. God almighty. Why is it so hard? No. Week 2, damn it. Damn it, Bobby. I said week 2 of the NFL season. Damn it. You boys whacking in my trailer. All right. Atlanta at Minnesota. I don't think Atlanta has a chance in this game. Not at Minnesota. I feel like Minnesota's defense is going to be too tough for that one. Minnesota given 3.5 though. I don't know. That's a tough. Philly at Kansas City. That's a big game. That's a big game. Wow, Philly's the favorite in that game by 1.5. Kansas City is an underdog at home by 1.5. That's wild. It's almost like a pick 'em. Uh, Kansas City lost week 1. Did they go 0-2? I mean, they didn't start out great last year either, but man, that's a rematch of the Super Bowl. I feel like Philly did struggle a little bit last week on defense because they didn't have Jalen Carter. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Kansas City on that one. I think it's gonna win outright. Given Kansas City getting 1.5, they're just gonna win it outright. Denver at Indy, man, that's another one too. Denver, Indy again, a home underdog, 1.5. Yeah, that's a lot. I think Indy gets this one. Daniel Jones is going to continue. I think Bo Nix is going to struggle, especially on the road. I'm going with Indy on that one. Cleveland at Baltimore. Cleveland's getting an 11.5. That's a hell of a spread. I know Baltimore is good, but Cleveland's defense is pretty decent. 11.5. Yeah, I think I'm taking the points on that one. I think Baltimore will win, but I don't know if they win by 11.5. But I don't know. Cleveland's offense didn't do much first week, but 11.5. That's strong, man. That's strong. Over under is 44.5. I don't know. I'm going with Baltimore, but I don't think they cover. Seattle at Pittsburgh. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh on this one. I mean, they're favorite at home. Less. Usually, home game gets you 3 automatic. They're under that. I think Pittsburgh will win that game easily, though. I don't think Seattle can. Not if Aaron Rodgers plays like he did last week. I don't think Seattle. I don't think it'll be close. Buffalo, New York. I'm going Buffalo all the way on that one. I mean, they're getting 6.5. Yeah. I mean, New York's 6.5 underdog at home. But you never know. I mean, Buffalo has been known to have these letdown games, and the Jets had a good showing week 1. Maybe that game's closer. I don't know about the 6.5. I think I'd take the points on that. I don't think Buffalo covers. San Francisco, New Orleans. Who is San Fran's backup? I don't even know. I know Purdy isn't playing. I know Skittles. I like Kittle is out. But New Orleans is terrible. I mean, New Orleans is still a 3.5 underdog. I guess I'll go San Fran in that one. I don't know. New England at Miami. Again, I think Miami has a get right game. Maybe not a get right game, but they're at home. I think they take care of New England. Honestly, I don't think Miami can play that bad 2 weeks in a row. I could be wrong. Rams at Tennessee. Rams are giving 5.5. Tennessee's getting 5.5. That's a strong spread too. I don't know. The Rams should win this one, but I could see it being a tough game. I could go either way. I think I'd take the points on that too, to 5.5. I'll take that. Chicago at Detroit, man. This is an interesting game because the offensive coordinator from Detroit went to Chicago. He's their head coach now. Detroit did not look good in their first game. Chicago started off fast last week and then fell off. I think Detroit wins this one. I mean, they're giving 6.5 though. I think I'm taking those points. I think Detroit's going to win it, but they're not going to cover. And then we already talked about New York, Dallas. Dallas should win this game, honestly. I look. I'm a Washington fan. Been a fan my whole life. I can't stand Dallas, so it'd be funny as hell if they lost. They're giving 5.5. I think I'd take the points. I think Dallas will win, but they won't cover. I'll take the points on that one. Jacksonville, Cincinnati. Cincy giving 3.5. Cincy should win that one, I think, right? There's a doubleheader for Monday night this week. Used to be doubleheader on Monday night, the first Monday night of the year, but so we got Tampa at Houston. Tampa should win that one. Houston getting 2.5. I think Tampa covers that, and I think Tampa gets the win. And then we got the Chargers at the Raiders. Yeah. No, Houston's favored in that Tampa game. All right. No, I think Tampa wins that outright. Yeah, I think Tampa wins that outright. Not 2.5. I don't know. That's strong. Chargers at the Raiders. Raiders favored in that by 3.5. No, Chargers giving 3.5. Chargers giving 3.5. Yeah, I think Chargers win that anyway. They're giving those points. And then we got the Thursday night game. Washington against Green Bay. Washington at Green Bay. Green Bay giving 3.5. I think Washington wins this game outright. I think it's gonna be a tough game though. I think it's gonna be. A lot of people think it's gonna be a shootout. I do not think it's gonna be a shootout. The over under is 48.5. I think Washington wins and they cover. I think they're gonna win by more than a field goal. This should be a good game though. It's Thursday night. Can't wait. Um, so yeah, there's week 2 predictions, week 2 outlooks. Anybody got any comments, anything they'd like to throw in there? Open Mike Podcast 76 at Outlook.com. Feel free to email me. Um, let me know your thoughts on this week's games. Let me know your thoughts on my picks. You might tell me I suck. I don't know. I don't care. I know this podcast seems like it's kind of a downer. I mean, like I said, man, anytime, what went on today is kind of a bummer. And it just brings things down, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to know. Oh, man, come on. It sucks, man, because, we all try to live our lives and, enjoy our lives and have fun. And we got, things going on we got to worry about. And um, it sucks, man. It does. But how about some Open Mike Mailbag? Let's read some emails. Let's try to finish the podcast on a positive note.
You've got mail.
You got mail. Open Mike Mailbag. Mail call. So what we got here? Let's look through the old emails here. Let's see. Here we go. Subject: will a sports movie ever be as iconic as The Sandlot? Sandlot, great movie. I don't know if anybody out there has seen it or has not seen it. Open mic. I was thinking about sports movies, and no one really has managed to make one as iconic as The Sandlot. I mean, it's a classic, right? What do you think? Are there any modern sports films that have the same lasting power, or will The Sandlot forever be the king of baseball movies? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Best Brian, still waiting on my own Sandlot moment. Brian, appreciate you listening to the show. Appreciate your emails. I don't know if The Sandlot's the king of baseball movies, man. It's a good movie, don't get me wrong, and there's a lot of quotes and a lot of "You're killing me, Smalls." There's a lot of things that come from that movie. It's a great movie, man. I'm not gonna lie. Field of Dreams comes to mind as far as baseball movies. The Rookie, The Natural. There's been a lot of great baseball movies, man, but The Sandlot is definitely up there as one of the. This is an all-around good movie, So, um, it is a classic. It is iconic. There's no doubt there. But Brian, I appreciate you listening to the show. Appreciate your email. Thanks for the support, Big Brian. Let's go. Let's see. Here we go. Subject: how do athletes manage mental health during a season? Good question. Hey, Mike, as a coach, I've always been fascinated by how professional athletes manage mental health during long seasons or after setbacks. Whether it's a big loss, an injury, or even the pressure of public expectation, how do they stay mentally resilient? Could be an interesting topic to explore, maybe even bringing in a sports psychologist for some insight. Would love to hear your take on this. Best, Ryan, the coach. Ryan, I appreciate you listening to the show. Appreciate your email. I did some sports psychology when I was in college. I went to school to be a physical education and health teacher, whatever. Ended up not teaching, but Yeah, a lot of athletes, you see guys in sports, that go through, like basketball players have a bad streak, right, where they're not hitting their shots. Football players, they're not, just they go through times where they're not performing, and they do see sports psychologists, and they specialize on the psychology of athletes, and um, when they're going through a slump or whatever, they find ways to help them get out of that slump. It's usually all in their heads, usually a mental thing. And so, yeah, they rely on sports psychologists to help them get over these hurdles. And yeah, especially if you're an athlete, if you're a star athlete and you're paying millions of dollars, there's a lot of pressure on you, and there's a lot of public expectation. Um, these people are worshipped and idolized. I don't agree with that. I don't think people should worship and idolize athletes, but they do. People look up to them. And so there's a lot of expectation on professional athletes, and how they manage, um, long seasons, if they have setbacks due to injuries or whatever. I've heard a lot of old players, talk over the years. They'd have an injury, they were using steroids. They would use steroids to recover faster, because the moment you get hurt and you're out and the next person comes up, you could lose your job. Like literally, because the new guy comes in, plays well. And that happens a lot. There's a lot of players, and especially in the NFL, that lose their jobs as backups, and they never recover. They're never the same from that. So, um, but Ryan, the coach, appreciate you listening to the show. Appreciate your email. That's a very good email. Um, let's see here. Fitness, here you go. Fitness and mental health, can they be truly linked? Hi, Open Mike. I've been following the episodes on mental health and sports, and it got me thinking, can regular fitness routines really have a long lasting impact on mental health, or is it more about how we think about exercise that counts? I've heard people say that working out can significantly improve mental health, but I'm curious what you think from both the psychological and physiological sides. Would love to hear a guest expert on this. Best, Dan, fitness guru. Well, I don't have any experts. Dan, thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for the email. I don't have any experts to invite to the show to talk about this. I can talk about that. I fully believe fitness and mental health are tied together. I know there's been times in my life when I've been down, um, mentally, depression, whatever. And when I feel good about myself, it affects everything else in my life. Like if I feel good about myself, and I feel good about myself from a physical standpoint and how I look, and this, it carries over in everything you do, everything, work, your personal life, whatever. So my opinion, I definitely think regular fitness routines, they do have a long lasting impact on your mental health. I think the better you feel about yourself, the better your self esteem is. It carries over into everything we do. We carry ourselves in a different way. We're more upbeat. We're happier. So it definitely, in my opinion, has an impact. 100%. And I've gone through it. So from my experience, absolutely. But I thank you, Dan, fitness guru, for emailing the show and listening to the show. Um, let's do one more. Let's do one more here. Let's do one that's not really as serious. Here we go. Subject: is LeBron actually a superhero? Hey, Open Mike, long time listener, first time emailer. Quick question for you. Do you think LeBron James is secretly a superhero? I mean, the guy is still dunking at age 40. Looks like he could run for president tomorrow and has a laundry list of accomplishments. My theory is that he's not human, just saying. Also, love the mix of comedy and insight. Keep it up. Best. Jason, I bet LeBron can fly. Fanatic. Jason, I appreciate you listening to. I appreciate you. I can't talk tonight. Jason, I appreciate you listening to the show. I appreciate your email. Um, LeBron is human. First off, there's always athletes at his level. They're the. You gotta think how many people live in this world, and how many people are NBA. athletes, right? So they're the best of the best. They're the top of the top, the cream of the crop. And so, yeah, that man is taking extremely wonderful care of his body to be able to play basketball at his age, and is still compete at a high level at that age. Um, he's not a superhero though. He has his flaws, so he's definitely human also. But yeah, he's not he's not Michael Jordan, you know what I'm saying? So, but um, yeah, I think LeBron is a very gifted athlete, and those athletes put a lot of money into taking care of their bodies, which they should, because that's their job. It's what they do for a living. So, um, again, Jason, I appreciate you listening to the show. Appreciate your email. I appreciate everyone who listens to the show. I appreciate all the emails, all the feedback. Um, uh, yeah, man, I appreciate, hey, man, life is hard. Life is maybe harder for some than others right now. Um, and, anytime we experience a mass shooting, a school shooting, today someone getting assassinated, murdered, it's rough. It's hard. Um, it's hard, man, and it affects a lot of people. And I never think less of someone. I never make fun of someone. I've seen people cry today on social media, and it's that guy touched people's lives in a positive way. And I'm not here to question that, or I'm not here to question that or anything, right? Like, um, hold on. I'm not here to question any of that, man. Like, if people touch someone in a positive way, more power to them. Like I said, I may not have agreed with a lot of things he said, but I think it was he made some good points. And you know, the economy. Everybody's like, the economy is great right now. It's like everything's expensive, man, and a lot of people are struggling right now. Um, and it's tough, man. Life is tough. Um, I never wanted to grow up. I never thought I'd grow up, honestly. Like, what sounds weird to say, but when I was 12, 13, 14 in my teenage years, I never thought about what life would be like when I'm 30 or when I'm 40 or when I'm 50. I never thought if I wanted kids, if I would have kids, I just never thought about any of that because I lived in the moment. I never thought about tomorrow. I lived for the moment. And you just think, like, I just never thought about growing up. And then the next thing you know, you're 49 years old. And it's like, life I've had a good life, better than probably most. But I've created a lot of opportunities for myself, and I worked hard and to have the things I've had and to done the things I've done, and not without flaws. Not have never I haven't lived a perfect life. I'm still learning about myself. I don't think we ever stop learning about who we are and how we can improve as humans, as people. Um, Life is tough. Life is hard, and it's you just have to keep pushing, man. And you just never know, man, what somebody's carrying. These people that commit these crimes, they're suffering from mental health issues, and you don't know what they've gone through in life, or what burdens they're carrying or what they're wearing. And truth is, there's a mental health crisis in this country. Um, life is hard sometimes. We all carry things, and it don't always show on the surface. It can feel heavy just to keep moving forward, right, with what we got. But um, I always say, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And I think everybody's got it in them. Don't give up. If anyone's struggling, man, anybody feels the need, they need somebody to reach out to. Open Mike Podcast 76 at outlook.com. Please shoot me an email. I will listen. I will help. I will do what I have to do. Um, please reach out. I promise you that's 100% from the heart. That's just not words. It's just not me talking. That's 100% truth, man. Anybody needs help. If you're struggling mentally, you got some thoughts on your mind, you need things to get off your chest, whatever, reach out to me. I'll listen to you. If you need help, if I can't help you, I'll make sure I find a way to get you to help. I'll point you in the right direction. Just keep your head up, man. Everybody keep your heads up. I promise at some point, sometime, it's going to get better. Because a lot of people, man, when you hit rock bottom, is the only way to go is up. You can't go no lower. I just wish we could all come together, man, and find a way to talk about problems without pointing fingers and choosing sides and feeling like I have to be affiliated with this side or that side. And I don't know. Hopefully one day we can do that. We can get to that point, man. We can get to that road. But look, man, tough times don't last. Tough people do. I appreciate everybody. Peace.